All right. I think we're ready. Take two. Nobody knows it's take two. Except now that I told you it's take two. Lots of dog barking. I know there's a dog scratching an itch. We'll give that a second. Or a few seconds. Now you get that, Rose. You get the itch. Okay. I think she's done. Cool. All right. How are you doing today? Wonderful, I hope. Yesterday was kind of interesting. As mentioned before, I had a concert that I was doing yesterday. I do these fairly often. We didn't have one in the spring because just all the crazy stuff, pandemic wise, just starting off. Nobody was really comfortable doing that kind of a live event. But now that we've got kind of procedures in place for being socially distant, I decided to give it a shot. And school was allowing of it, or where we play at a community college was all right with it. But for those who don't know, the group I play with is a percussion ensemble. The type of group that it's called is a percussion ensemble. Everybody who's in it plays percussion instruments. That could be like drums. That makes up a majority of what kind of makes up the group, but there's also like keyboard instruments. That's in things like marimbas, vibraphones. People might know, like the one that really probably people remember from like grade school and stuff is xylophones. And that's a lot of what I play. I do play drum things. I'm a music major. I majored in composition and percussion performance. But what I really gravitate towards is those keyboard instruments. I just really like them for some reason. Melodic percussion instruments are pretty cool. But yeah, so we just kind of had a smaller-ish group this time, just so everybody can stay kind of relatively far apart from each other while performing. And that went okay. That's been going okay for like over the course of us rehearsing for this thing. I realized there was like a really bright light in my eye. Have like anime glasses character glare going on the entire time. I'll fix that just a little bit. But that's been going okay from like a rehearsal standpoint, but we were wondering how it would be from like a live stream performance. So we knew going into this that there wouldn't be an audience for us while we're performing this time. It's just a bunch of empty chairs. Now, we're used to playing for like 200 plus people from around the community for when we do these kinds of concerts. Not like a full house or anything, but it's a pretty full audience. And this time we really only have us, people who are playing, and the tech crew, people who are working all of the sound and the cameras and things like that, which is a little weird. It's like playing kind of for a ghost town type setup. It's not impossible to do. Like when you're rehearsing, you're not playing for anybody either, but when you're doing this, it's hard to, unless you're used to treating performing or rehearsing as if it were a performance, then it can be a little weird. Like getting completely into it and be like, yes, I can't talk in between things. I can't goof off while I'm playing as much. Just need to do the music, play it well, and pretend as if there were an audience there. Hundreds of people just looking at you, listening to what you're doing. And it's just not the case. We get like our tech crew people, which is really funny. They had like one person or like one or two people. They would like clap in between each of our things, just like it was some kind of audience. And apparently on the live stream, people were like, yeah, it sounded like more than one person. I'm like, well, to let them know that their clapping was enough to convince people that there was at least some semblance of an audience. But in reality, there was nobody in the seats. There was somebody working controls. But yeah, kind of a weird thing. Like recording in a studio, but you're not going to master or edit anything. It's just, that's it. That's your take. You're good. You go. That's it. So yeah, kind of an interesting thing. I'm glad it was able to be put on in that regard, being able to share live music, even if it's not in person, is like a wonderful thing. I really like doing that kind of work, just going out there and making things that people can enjoy, especially in a live setting. So being able to give that to people in some regard is just a really good thing. Definitely looking forward to when we can have an audience back again. There's nothing that quite meets that level of, well, both like kind of, you feel really good about it, especially when it's done. It does come along with a lot of stress, like when you go on stage and there's a lot of people looking at you. It's kind of like, okay, we're doing this again, I guess. Not as much this time, but at the same time, like the performance lacked a little something because of that little bit of edge that performers get about playing in front of people. I don't think you ever quite get over it. There are a bunch of people here to see you do something, that they decide to use their time to just watch or listen to you. It's kind of crazy to me. But we've done it for a long time. That's just entertainment. And it's always good to know that people keep coming back. Like, you're good enough that people keep coming back and they want to experience that more. So, yeah, it was just kind of a weird thing. I'd share a little bit about thoughts of playing for an audience that isn't there, which I guess, I can't remember if I said it on this take or the last one, but it's kind of like this too. Like, I don't know at the time of putting this together if anyone's going to actually watch what's put together here or listen to it. It's just, I'm doing all these kinds of things. I could just talk in front of the microphone and just, whatever, but it's still being lively and performative and trying to make it a lively storytelling or chatting experience, like you're actually talking with somebody, even though that's not what's happening. So I guess there's some little bit that's going on there. Not necessarily like the parasocial parts of it, but knowing that you are playing for an audience, but they're not there with you. The main difference there is that this was live streamed, not broadcast. So what we were playing was being served to them live. And in this case, you're not seeing me live. It's just, I did this at some point in the day and I upload it. But that concept of playing for an audience that isn't there, talking with an audience that isn't there, or talking with somebody that isn't there, but giving the illusion that this is a bit of a conversation, at least acting the part. Like, you're there, I'm talking with you, we're having a good time. I'm not treating it as if I'm talking to myself in a mirror. I feel like I'm trying to talk to you as if you were there. Which is kind of how it was yesterday. Playing as if the audience was there, even though they're not. So, yeah, interesting thing. Not sure there's really much takeaway from there other than the experience was interesting, and in some ways it might be helpful, but it was just interesting. I wanted to share that. So, yeah, I think that's probably about it. We'll call it that, and probably be doing another one of these tomorrow. I keep thinking today's Friday, but it's actually Thursday. So, yeah, have a wonderful rest of the day and early tomorrow, whenever you're watching this, and yeah, see ya.